So there's still an issue with this 12 volt. Um, when I start her up in idle, it runs. It doesn't run smoothly though, but it runs. If you give it a little bit of idle, a little bit of speed or RPMs, she'll start to backfire through the carburetor, or sometimes through the exhaust, and it'd be very rough engine sound, and smoky quite a bit. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time figuring out what could cause this. I mean, there's three things in this world when it comes to gasoline cars and whatnot. Yeah. All three has to be there in case, just to make an engine work. You have to have air, fuel, and spark, and we have all three here. So it has to do with timing. It has to be about when the fuel is ignited at what point. And on this engine here, we have a small ball located on the flywheel that will indicate when it's at a specific timing at cylinder one. So the cylinder one, when you do the timing, you put cylinder one to overlapping. Yeah. So it's compression, which means that it has dumped in fuel, which means that it has dumped in fuel, and now it just need to be ignited. And you set your distributor so it'll give that spark and poof, burn off the fuel. Yeah. But I can't control it on this here vehicle here. I tried a VIC 2 carburetor. I tried a VIC 3 carburetor. Right now there's a VIC 5. No, sorry, a VIC 7 carburetor on it. All jet up, as we would say. But still, it hasn't really made any significant change. So I started thinking, perhaps I am looking in the wrong place. Yeah. Instead of looking at the fuel ratio, blah, 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 being sucked into the engine, perhaps I should be checking out or looking after the distributor and seeing if that really is timed correctly. And let's have a look at one. I got one right over here. Let's just take it by bits. Let's just take it in bits. Probably seen it on your own car. This here. This distributor cap. Why is it called a cap? Well, because it's on top. That's a cap. What do you do? Okay. The middle one, this is a 4-cylinder. So the middle one is the, well, it comes with an ignition coil. Yeah. And in here you can see that there's a coil piece, yeah, which the rotor head sits like this in here, of course. Now it's upside down, right? But it sits in here. And whenever it goes around, you'll have contact with one of these, the 4 of these, yeah? These go individually to a cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is a 4-cylinder ignition coil. Okay. I open up this, everything looked fine. This here as well, looked very nice. Nothing wrong with that either. So, we can write that off. What next will be what's coming in next. Inside the distributor, you have a capacitor that keeps on. Well, current. Let's just say like that. Helps with the sparks and whatnot. Yeah, and you have a breaker. Let me just show you. Just push this, you see? Connection on, connection off. And of course from the ignition coil. And this is from the, well, as I just said, the ignition coil is connected here. So when the engine's driving or running, yeah, it does this. So every time that hits, we have connection, and we have spark traveling through here, through the sensor of the, well, I just removed the rotor head, yeah, and sends off that spark through your spark wire, through your spark, to ignite the fuel in your cylinders. This looks fine, except of course this up here looks like very cruddy, as you can, I don't know if you can see it, but it's it's not so great. But anyway, this looked fine, so that couldn't be it. So I took this is different than what's placed in here right now. This will be put in this car because now this is redone. You hear this? That's the breaker. Every time you hear that? So, well, in theory this works. Let's open her up and see. So, okay, that's one way to do it. Look at this. You hear that? That's the breaker. Okay, let me just put that off. There we go. And we can see now we have a square axle coming out. Yeah. You see what happens? See that? Whoop, there we go. And that gap has to be set exactly as written in the manual, right? So this looks great. Okay. Now, and with these kind of engines, you dab in engine oil in there, so it'll be lubricated. Yeah. Underneath, as you can hear now, you have the tooth wheel here, and you have the connection with the oil pump in the with the oil pump. Okay. If I hold on this and I hold it tightly, I can still turn this backwards, and you hear that. Now this is balancing blocks, or yeah, well, we call them balancing blocks, yeah, and we do that because it's well, how do I explain it? Timing when you go faster and faster needs to be set a little bit more and more off. So if you have timing at the exact same spot every time, yeah, it'll be running worse and worse, right? So ignition timing needs to be able to change just a bit. Not too bloody much, but just a bit. And in this case, the vacuum on this one will also help a little bit. Yeah, okay? So now we know that the balancing blocks are working, right? Yeah. And well, with this contraption here, this means that you can actually set the timing a little bit more if you're using richer fuels, if you're using what kind of fuels. So my theory was that something in this was off. And well, I was right. And I will show you. It is, wow. Let's just put this on here. And I'll show you how to do timing as well. Yeah. So, we're going to be using tools for this. This, of course, is the heart itself. When you do timing, you need a timing pistol so that you can see on the flywheel the ball, and that is in the same spot every time. Let's see if we can find the ball on this one. Where the hell is it? Oh, there you go, right there. You see, there's a ball right there. So that ball, when the engine is in idle, will always show at the same spot in the inspection hole with a little pointer. Yeah. So when you're doing ignition timing, you make sure that that ball aligns with the ignition timing pin or whatnot. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you later. Okay. This, but to do this properly, you need a lamp. Looks like a hair. Looks like something for your hair. It is not. And do remember when you do this, make sure that this works with 6 volt, because this is 6 volt. And if you use it over 12 volt, you might not get any light out of it. This one is plugged into negative and positive, of course. And this one here is put on the first cylinder in the correct way, of course. There's an error on it. I'll show you. See? There we go. So it'll be going to the engine from the distributor cap. So plop, we put that on, push it here, light into the hole where you have the ball and the ignition timing pan, and you will see exactly what it is. And I'll show you. This is what we're doing. Okay. Later. So, what was my findings? I'll just bring you with me. Let's go. Well, obviously this is the wrong side. Oh, there we go. Can we see? Where is it? Tell you what, I'm just gonna flip the screen a bit. Hang on. Yeah, now there we go. See, now here it is. That is when the capacitor thingy and all that is taken off, and you can see that in here you have the balancing blocks, right? On the balancing, right here. All right. So this will always change when the vehicle is driving around. Yeah. However, this is stuck, so I can't. There is no chance in hell that this is going to work ever. As you see, the springs are all extended, and the balancing block itself is well, it's out there. Which means that this will never regulate anything. So this will have to come off, and we'll install the other one. And we do timing once more. And we'll start her up and we'll see how that works out. Okay, let's do that.